This is a really cool honor. You know, the 31 has always meant something to me ever since I've been on campus here, and it's something that I still wear 31 today for my time here at Mizzou, and for the athletic department to go ahead and retire it. I mean, that's something you don't even dream of this.
What's your personal history with the number 31?
Honestly, it started here in high school. I wore 17, and the different sports I played. Never wore 31, but when I got here, I looked at I saw it when I got to my locker and I saw the number. I kind of eyed around the major leagues at the time and see who else wore 31, and Greg Max wore 31, and I was like, okay, this is a pitching number. We can get this to go. To watch how I developed between my freshman year to my junior year, I really felt like I really made a transformation just on and off the field, and just had a different attitude, and I really felt like that attitude started here, and something that, hey, 31 meant something to me.
So does that 31 a little bit represent that kind of that toughness that you, sounds like you developed after your first year here, that you still have today and are known for?
The challenges I faced here, the transformation I made here, how hard our coaches pushed us, the competitive atmosphere that we had, and really the teammates. There's so many great guys, and still some of my best friends today are former baseball players that I played with here, and for me, that's why 31 means something to me, and that's why it's really cool to have this retired.
You've been public with how much you still love Mizzou, and everyone thinks back to after the Georgia game and you using the spotlight of the playoffs to highlight how much you love Mizzou, and you mentioned how far it goes back with your family, and how much does Mizzou still mean to you, and how much do you still follow football, basketball, baseball, all that?
Yeah, I still love Mizzou and still follow all the sports. Like I said, all my friends, they were former baseball. My best friends are still former baseball players. So we still keep up with the program and keep up with all the sports, and really follow it because we all enjoyed our time here, and I think that's something that when you are an athlete here, that you pull for everybody here.
The retirement of 31 becomes official today, but in the springtime, I spend more time with Tim Jamison in the booth than I do with my wife, and he's told me many times about, after you left, he took 31 every single year and put it in a closet. Said, I'm not giving this to anybody. How special was that relationship with him, and how much did you learn from him in your growth here?
Yeah, Coach Jay was instrumental. I mean, he recruited me out of high school, and you go back to his days of how I developed from a raw kid who came to Mizzou to a pitcher. The rest of the coaching staff as well, of how they pushed me just as hard off the field as I did on the field, and just grateful that for what Coach Jay and the rest of the staff were able to provide.
You had a decision to make when you came out of high school. I mean, I know the Cardinals drafted you late in that draft, but as a St. Louis kid and seeing that,
yeah.
I mean, did you give a second thought and go, man, that's tough to turn down?
Yes and no. I grew up as a Cardinals fan, and so obviously when the Cardinals come knocking, obviously you're going to listen. But I also knew that for players that sign out of high school, it's such a high risk to ever make it to the major leagues, much less make it in the major leagues. And so for me, I wanted a better safety net. I needed to further my education, and I knew that furthering my education would provide me the safety net so that if I ever did choose to go into the baseball, that I could go at it full force knowing that I had an education to fall back onto. And for me, at that point in time, I understood that completely. So even when the Cardinals came knocking, it just really wasn't going to happen.
On a night like this, when you have a moment like this and you get to take that sort of big picture look at, a home state kid, home state university, things you accomplished here, Big 12 Pitcher of the Year, games won, relationships made, and now number retired. How do you kind of process that, and what are the feelings and emotions?
It just puts a big smile on your face. You just realize all the hard work and how that really transformed me into I've been able to take that and take it into the major leagues. And I trace a lot of how I train, how I run, how I lift, back to how I did it here while I was at Mizzou, and how successful I was with it here, and how successful it has helped make me in the major leagues. And when like you said, can you take a big picture look at this? It is important because this is where it started, and to look back and have your number retired because of it, that's pretty cool, and that's why I still wear it.